Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we'll be breaking down our picks for the top 5 and one worst level 2 Druid spells.
Little plant. It's a druid friend. Druids are prepared casters. This means you prepare your Wismod plus level every long rest druid spell slots you got ready for. So if you're a level 3 druid with second level spell slots, you can prepare second and first level spells, and you get a number of usually 3 is your wisdom modifier at this stage, plus your level, which is 3 for 6 whole druid spells you get to prepare. So you got some options. You got some choices. It makes spells that are a little bit more niche that you can prepare out at the end of a long rest, know it's coming in the future, a little easier to take. Makes preparing your spells opens up more options, and it's good to then know the spell list a little bit better if you're a prepared caster. That's just I like to make a little statement before we go in and talk about all these, because you're not going to always prepare all these. There'll be times we want to prepare something a little bit more specific, but a lot of these are just be like, oh yeah, this is excellent.
And also we should add, as always, Sam lists his spells top to bottom, 1 through 5. I just picked my 5 favorites in no particular order. So, what do you think about level 2 druid spells?
There are some real bangers, and then there's the rest of them. Is kind of how it felt to me. There were some that I was like, oh, this spell's gas, and I was like, oh, this spell's uncastable, and I was like, oh, that spell's really good too, and I was like, oh, that spell's also uncastable. It's like polar opposites. There are very few just like, yeah, it's fine effects here.
No. I thought there were a couple. I thought there's a lot of trash, a couple really good ones. I thought there are a lot of middling ones. And like you said, a lot you're gonna just need in specific situations.
There are a handful where I'm happy to prepare them for specific situations. We're not going to touch them much, but I think protect from poison. Okay, you're going against the poison dragon. Sure, whatever. Things like gust of wind, even it's like we're going to go into corridors. We're going to a tight dungeon. Sure, prepare gust of wind for that. Most of the other ones that are like, oh, I don't know if I could ever find a time to cast this and be happy with it.
Man, I hope we don't both have the same worst, but I think we might.
I'll deviate. There's plenty of worsts to talk about. Don't you worry. Yeah. I'll find another just in case.
No. Don't cheat. Oh, this is
I can't help but cheat.
Yeah, I know that's true. Yeah. All right, you can start today. What do you got for number 1?
Summon Beast is gross. It's really, really good. So the Toss Cauldron of Everything introduced a bunch of summon spells, and they really shored up the problems that summoning magic has had in this edition, namely in that the conjure spells are utterly busted or don't function. And for that reason, they gave us instead a much more contained, finite, you spend your concentration on a whole extra character. They're so ridiculously good, right? A concentration to command for attack actions is great. They give you a bunch of free hit points. They're an easy place to put spell slots into. They're exceptional. And the cheapest one you can get is Summon Beast. And I genuinely think if you're playing Druid, this is probably one of the core pillars you're going to lean on in the early tiers is just this is my extra attack. This is my additional companion I got running around, pecking things eyes out. You take all 3 of the speeds and you're happy with it. They're usable in all environments. Flyby is a great trait for the aerial ones to keep them alive. The land-based ones get pack tactics, so they have advantage on their attack rolls if you're going fighting next to them. It's sweet.
Yeah, Summon Beast definitely made my list. I figure if you're going to be a druid, you're going to be leaning on summoning magic sooner or later. This is your introduction to it.
Absolutely. You get Wild Companion at level 2, I think, which is a fine familiar use of your wild shape. So with this alongside it, you have just you can play the Beast Magic character. Whereas prior to Toss Cauldron and everything, you're I'm a druid, but I interact with only animals I find in nature. Bummer. So, it's nice that there are actual real options now that you have animal friends. And they're pretty stellar as well. Oh god, it's so good. All the traits are amazing. Not amazing, but they're solid for 2nd level. You can upcast this at 4th level and be happy with it. If you like the beast thematics, getting extra attack on your beast is great. And this isn't something your DM goes, oh my god, how many Chinels are there now? I can't deal with that. Are you kidding me? This is a very contained, you have 1 beast. It does the beast thing. Your DM can account for it, kind of like an extra party member, or break your concentration to make it go away. It's very much easier to manage, but still very powerful.
When's the next beast? Not beast. When's the next summon spell come online?
Next level.
Next level. Okay, well.
Yeah, it's Summon Fae there.
This is cool. Summon Fae, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a fun one. I like that you still will have reasons to use all the summon spells, so preparing varieties of them for their varying effects is neat. If you want a purely combative wolf to be at your assistance, Pack Tactics is on your Wolves from Summon Beast, and it does upcast as well as Summon Fae does for 4th level. They get to make 2 attacks, they get all their abilities and stuff like that, they get the bonus hit points for upcasting. Upcasting these feels pretty solid. So,
All right, Summon Beast, we are agreed.
what else you got?
I got Spike Growth.
My number 2.
Yeah.
I have a hunch this is going to look very similar.
Ooh, looking at this, I know one more is going to probably make both our lists. I'm not sure about the other two, but yeah, Spike Growth. This is I don't know. I feel like this is the evolution of Entangle. This
Agreed.
is when your area of effect, but this one also does damage.
Yes,
And
I think,
and it does damage whether or not the more movement is forced or voluntary. Good times.
this is definitely a spell that, with the involuntary movement, there's a lot of fun to be had, especially because it's so early in the game. You can very clearly and easily take some things that don't necessarily work great on their own, but combine them together with Spike Growth to all of a sudden have a themed character that's heavily empowering, right? Just having this and Thorn Whip will easily set you up to go, I've made a character that takes advantage of Thorn Whip better because I took Spike Growth. You can kind of, these synergies go in together. You can just have like a really easy, digestible early build that only requires you to prepare a spell. On top of that, right, something that's a little bit, at least I brush off a lot, is this is disguised terrain, which means the first instance of damage is often free. And then things will then go, oh, I just took 2d4 damage. That was obnoxious. Why did I take 2d4 damage? Then they will examine, oh crap, I'm in a Spike Growth. And then they get thrown yoink through it and take 44 more. And that's all pretty spicy and sweet if you ask me.
Yeah, I also completely forgot that was part of the spell.
Yep.
But yeah. Bonus.
Yeah. That's a great little flavory bit on top of what is a delicious build around movement empowering effect.
Yeah, because I mean, if several party members have abilities or spells or whatever's that can force movement, then yeah, you can bounce somebody around inside that Spike Growth and
you really don't need to get a lot of damage out of this to be justifying the cast either. I think if you can get 64 damage out of this, you're very happy with it, and you could easily get that on your own a lot of the time. You obviously would like more, and like you just suggested, if you've got a Grasp of Hadar Warlock that's pulling things into it, it makes Grasp of Hadar not be utter trash. That's nice. But like, you then have other options like shoving that gets a lot better, that guarantees damage with it. You've got all kinds of little things like telekinetic. You get the Crusher Feet to move things around in it. Your party can even like build towards this. Now, this is the concentration, so it competes with Summon Beast. So if you want to do the powerful beast thing, you probably don't do it alongside Spike Growth. You probably build with Spike Growth in mind. And if you don't do the Spike Growth thing, you're probably just leaning on Summon Beast because these both take concentration, and you use them both in combat. So like, you probably don't want both of them all the time on that same character. Just a consideration.
all right, Spike Growth. What else you got?
Pass Without Trace.
Oh, so do I.
Yep.
I think we might be at least 4 for 4.
My number 3 is Pass Without Trace. It is +10 to stealth checks in the whole squad, and that's gross. It's really good. They built the system.
Just the whole squad. Everyone you can see within 30 feet of you. This could be like the whole village.
It could.
Like, now, to be clear, they don't have to stay within 30 feet, right?
They do.
They do.
They clarified it. Yes, they clarified it on Twitter. I believe Jeremy Crawford was like, they get the bonus when they make stealth checks while within 30 feet of you. For the duration, each creature you choose within 30 feet of you has the bonus. They have to within 30 feet of you when they make the checks.
Oh, well, that's a little bit of a bummer. That's not how I thought it worked. Because I looked over the description a few times just to. It doesn't say that, but all right. Well, if that's the rules, that's the rules. Still, it's really good.
It's nebulous. I used to always run it the way you're describing, and it was yucky good there. I've now started running it the way where they have to be within 30 feet of you. It's still been about as good. So like, it's not a huge detriment to it in most cases.
I mean, if it was like you just start within 30 feet and then you go wherever. I mean, this lasts what, an hour?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Again,
I mean, you could be doing like different missions around the whatever. Around the town.
Around getting into a keep and everyone's got +10 for the whole hour is pretty sweet. Again, this does take concentration, but at least it's using different environments, the Summon Beast and Spike Growth kind of stuff. So this is something you use for your out-of-combat exploration, and whenever you get into the dungeon, you're like, okay, we're not stealthy anymore. Beast, get in here. We're killing stuff.
Well, I mean, yeah, it requires concentration, but that's not a huge issue out of combat.
It is between combats, because that's whenever your hour-long duration Summon Beast is going to want to be up, right? And we're going to hear a lot of me mentioning of Summon Beast because Druids have a very hard time managing their concentration because of how good hour-long summons are.
Yeah, well, I was thinking for just different missions.
Yeah,
You haven't been in
absolutely.
a combat. You just want to go stealthily explore something.
Yep. Which
And then
that's how a lot of
no,
adventures start.
when you need combat, then you
Drop
don't
it,
need
son
stealth
of the
anymore.
beast.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Pass without trace. We are agreed once again.
Ready to be 4 for 4?
All
It's
right.
hold person.
Oh, I thought it was my turn.
Is it your turn?
I think so. Yeah, because you
Oh, I'm
picked pass
sorry.
without trace.
Can I
That's all
speak
right.
for you? It's hold person.
All person. Yeah, that's another one. That was the one I thought would definitely both have it.
Yep.
So that leaves one left. Woo. All right, hold
Yep.
person.
Yeah, well, it's your turn.
Oh,
I spoke for you.
all
What do
right.
you got?
No, that's fine. I mean, the same thing I had every time else we mentioned hold person. Yeah, it's a save or die, sure, but that die part of it is truly die. Yeah,
It
if
really
you
is
hold a
like oh
person and you want that person dead, yeah,
yeah,
if you just want a hostage, okay, you can tie him up. But if you want that person dead, you will get your wish
yes,
because what is it, advantage and auto crits.
yeah.
Yep.
This is the kind of thing where like they kill your summon beast and you go, how dare you hold person barbarian get them, and then they're just decimated. Because yeah, once again, this does take concentration, which is we're seeing a theme for druids here. You're gonna be playing Render Summon Beast a lot. Still, hold person is really debilitating, like you suggested. Like, this is the kind of thing where you go, oh, that's a humanoid? This is way better than a beast companion. It's dead now. Assuming they failed to save. There's a bunch of caveats. That's why it's my number 4, not
Yes.
any higher, is because it being a saber die does make it so it trivializes a fight or it does nothing at all. And,
Yeah.
that kind of polarization doesn't appeal to a lot of people sometimes. I respect that. Again, I personally don't like putting it on my sheet, but as a DM who's played the DM before it, I've watched encounters get folded in half because my big bad happened to be a tiefling, and oh, that tiefling's paralyzed. Guess they're dead. So yeah,
Ah,
it's real good.
all right. Are we going to be 5 for 5? What do you got?
Probably, I know you really like this one, and
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
looking over
It's the
this
one.
list the whole time, and I'm like, there is nothing better than this. It's heat metal.
Yes, it's heat metal. We are
Yeah.
5 for 5. Oh God, I think we're going to be 6 for 6 too. Nice.
I I really should pick anything else because this is concentration, but like the other effects on here that I like are concentration based. So if you're, this will make ritual spells very, very a lot more appealing, especially lower level ritual spells, especially lower level cheap first level spells. Preparing them is relevant because if you've noticed, all 5 of these are going to be ritual spells. Druids are very, very, very tied to their concentration. So all this with a grain of salt. You're not going to want all these prepared at once, like we prefaced earlier. Maybe take some of the more niche ones in circumstances, but like even niche ones like from poison's concentration. Anyway, heat metal. Talk about it. You love it.
Yeah, it's just a horrifying, terrible way to kill somebody.
True.
But all right,
Boil alive inside your own
that's
armor.
flavor. But no, also I'm thinking like, all right, you're what level are you getting this? Your third
Third.
level druid? Third level druid, still kind of weak. You're going up against a guy in full plate armor. Oh, that guy's scary. That guy could kill me. But his armor is his weakness now
Yep.
because it is going to cook him.
I really
That's
like
ooh,
these targeted
then
effects that like the game doesn't have a great way to show these are creatures' weaknesses outside of vulnerabilities, which there are laughably few things in this game that have vulnerabilities to damage types. There should be more. I don't know why there aren't, but there should be more. Heat metal is kind of a heavy armor vulnerability. Heat metal kind of is, that's wearing chain, great, it's on fire now. That's wearing plate, great, it's on fire now. And you just go up to it, you touch it, and like touching it is, oh sorry, it's 60-foot range, you have to touch it. You just be like, the person far away from me is on fire now. And they can't get that thing off in time. They're just taking 2d damage. There's no saves involved. They're just on fire. That's great. A guaranteed 2d damage, even if it's somewhat niche, even if it's only against specific subset enemies. Like, if you're going to fight knights, you go, oh, great, heat metal's going to boil 3 or 4 of them alive.
also if even if they're not wearing metal armor, if they're holding a metal weapon, that's it could disarm them. Then they like you don't like your opponents to be able to make choices, but and that's another one of these choices that I really like. You
Sure.
can keep taking damage, or you can let go of your weapon.
This definitely will dissolve a lot of situations that you would want to dissolve. So let's say you are getting approached by angry bandits. By lighting one of their swords on fire and suddenly having them disarmed, if like that can be a scary moment where they took 2d8 damage, no save, dropped their weapon and go, well, I am now disarmed against something that can light me on fire. maybe this is a bad idea, right? And if you're like to be the kind of person that just disarms fights and doesn't necessarily see them to like murder, this is a way you can do this without boiling people alive and have fun with it still. That's an endorsement for not murder with it.
Yeah. Not horrible murder.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it really sends shivers up my spine.
Yeah.
Imagining this one.
A quick honorable mention to a non-concentration spell, and the only reason I'm mentioning this is because it doesn't take concentration. Otherwise, I don't think it's that notable. Because Healing Word is way better than it. It's Wither and Bloom. So Wither and Bloom gives you this 2d6 area damage that also heals somebody incidentally. So it kind of is damage and healing tied together. The really crucial thing is it doesn't take your concentration, and you can prepare it and be happy with it in most fights. And for that reason, I feel like I should mention it here, because I've only talked about concentration spells. And with other options that I've, like Bard, when we talked about it, I did a lot of concentration spells. I was a lot more fine with that, because Bards only get 2 learned spells by the time they get 3rd level spell slots past this, right? You learn a spell at 3rd level, you learn a spell at 4th level, you get to 5th level, you've only gotten 2, they can both take concentration. You don't have a whole lot of options. With Druid being able to prepare a whole bunch, you really can get whatever you want, and getting a lot of overlapping concentration is an issue. So if you are looking to say, like, I have 2 concentration effects that I like maybe take some of these and passive traits would be my easy ones to say these are both good in different situations, taking them both on the same sheet is fine. Then getting Wither and Bloom as your other 2nd level spell is probably reasonable, so you have a place to put your concentration and a place to spend your 2nd level spell that isn't concentration.
It's also got a nice Druid flavor.
It does.
All right. Are we going to go 6 for 6? All right. Well, do you want to go over? Wow. This is the first time we don't have to do this twice. Our picks are both the same.
And in order. We won down by number 1 to 5. Yeah, it's
not really. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it doesn't matter because I don't do mine in order. But yeah.
We just incidentally stumbled into that.
Yeah. All right. What do you got?
Summon Beast. Busto. Spike Growth is very good, very fun for specific builds. Pass the Trace is exceptional. Hold Person is very fun at just killing a single individual, and Heat Metal is fun at killing very specific individuals. So, you know. And then again, I will definitely recommend Wither and Bloom alongside 2 of the other ones, just because it doesn't take your concentration. Or some other non-concentration effect that you like.
Okay.
There are not a lot of those.
All right. What's your pick for the worst without cheating?
I want to cheat though. You should say it, so I get to pick a different one. It's Fine Traps. Fine Traps is awful.
We're not going to have this opportunity again where we got 6 for 6.
That's fair.
Of course, Fine Traps was my pick.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a position, but man, spell that truly does nothing.
Yeah. We think there are traps nearby. There are traps nearby. That's the whole of the spell.
Wait, but you didn't find them. You're called Find Traps. I still don't know where the traps are.
They're within eyesight. Looks around 60-foot space. Like, God, the spell's terrible. If you know if you know there are traps nearby, you don't need to cast Find Traps. And if you don't know there are traps nearby, you're not casting Find Traps. So what does this do?
No, if you suspect there are traps nearby, you confirm your suspicion. You still don't know where they are. But yeah, you're left in the same place you would be anyway, investigating for traps.
There is no meaningful difference in actions taken past the point of before and after casting Find Traps. If before you cast Find Traps, you go, I'm worried there are traps here. You cast Find Traps, they go, there are traps here. It's not like because you were worried there were traps here in the first place, you weren't going to look for them. It's not like you're like, I think there might be traps here. Let's just stumble into them. No, you were going to make investigation checks and stuff and try and disarm them. That's not changing any course of action. It's just confirming suspicion at best or wasting a spell slot at worst. And that is unequivocally uncastable.
Oh, this spell on this makes me extra angry because this is a spell list that contains augury, and I don't get to choose augury.
It contains Skyrite. It contains Beast Sense. It contains Animal Messenger. There are a lot of real bad spells here.
Yeah, that's
like Earthbind is here. Earthbind is so niche. It's better than the rest because, like, maybe you prepare it for the dragon fight. Maybe.
Well, I mean,
I hate enhanceability. That spell's awful.
If you have Earthbind if you have a flying creature and you don't have a lot of ranged options, that's something.
What if you instead prepared a ranged option?
Yes, well, you did. It's Earthbind.
Fair. It does have a 300-foot range. There are niche cases for Earthbind. It also takes your concentration. If you're playing a druid, you will very quickly find when you're reading the spells for yourself, like, oh wow, all of these take concentration, and that's a bummer. But it's also to say, like, locate animals and plants, I would say is marginally better than find traps.
Well, I mean, there are times where you need that. I need to find this specific berry to make my potion or whatever.
Sure. I guess that's fine.
You'll ever get with find traps.
That's definitely true. It's also a ritual, so I actually can't be that mad at it, right? Like, even if you just prepare it because you already know what you're going to be concentrating on, you'd be like, hey, I can ritual cancel this. It's cute. It's flavorful. It's pretty harmless. Why not? God, there are a lot of bad druid level spells. There are also like 6 really good ones. Well, 5 really good ones, Wither and Bloom, which is fine.
They were easy picks.
They were.
All around. I didn't spend a lot of time on this one.
I didn't have to either. I was like, before this video, I was like, oh crap, I didn't get these picked. And I was like, oh, that one, that one, that one. Oh, I'm done.
You're not supposed to admit that.
Oh, I'm sorry, internet. I worked very hard and diligently. I studied all night.
We are professionals here. All right. Well, I guess that's that. That's our list. Level 2 druid spells. Yeah. But yeah, I think we covered these pretty well.
If you thoughts, feelings, emotions about our list, if you think Hold Person has no business being on here, if you have other non-concentration recommendations, comments below. Let us know what you think.
Or if you like Skywrite and find traps, let us know that too.
To be fair, I like Skywrite, but I don't like find traps.
All right. Well, yeah, go back, watch Druid Cantrips, level 1 Druid Spells. We've done Bard. We've done Wizard. We've done Cleric. Go watch them all. And
we're working our way through them.
See you next time for level 3 Druid Spells. All right. Thank you, Sam. Thank you for joining us. Like and subscribe to the channel and all that, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.